The darkened steel pulled itself back into its vaguely humanoid shape and paused. On the planet, the queen hissed from the mental exercise of restraint, a long-forgotten discipline. Her hatred of humans raged behind a mask of need. The room seemed to get colder as Alice waited to see what happened next. The whole situation was insane. She watched as the creature, stuffed inside some Dark Age human tech, regained its feet. A golem then, not an AI, untrustworthy and strangely unsettling. The avatar sat down again, its anger now restrained. I have brought you here to negotiate my surrender. Despite everything I have done, the blight has filled my world. They don't know it yet, but I can feel them fall away. Become as you, lost and alone, deaf to my calls and isolate. I cannot find a cure, and it is growing year by year. The engineer gritted her teeth. The whole myth of human engineers had obviously been bounced around and occasionally came back to bite them. She couldn't fix it. She wouldn't even if she could. Removing the free will from an entire people was frowned on by the XCC. She could be fined. Or worse, demoted. Alice stopped pretending to eat and sat back. So, sprout a new queen. You fucked up. Maybe she'll do better. I like being an isolate, an individual. So do us all a favor and do the bloody murderous throne thing again. She leaned forward. Because if you wanted my sympathy, you went the wrong way about it, Your Highness. I don't care if your world burns. I remember Aristotle, and we don't forget what your kind did. The avatar paused for a moment and then nodded. If those are your terms, I accept, in exchange for a single task. That stopped Alice. She sighed. So what do you want me to do? Does it involve heavy lifting or the betrayal of my people? Because those are out. The avatar arose. Follow me. It waited as Alice arose and a new doorway opened. I will explain as we descend. Do not make hostile movements. These creatures are not sentient in any meaningful way and will attack if you cause a disturbance. Alice stopped. That's a lot of variables. Do I walk behind you? What? Do they attack you? The avatar nodded. Only once, obviously. They are an old breed designed to protect a queen's eggs from usurpers. Uncrowned young queens seeking advantage or food. Alice pulled the fork from her boot. Fuck you people! Have you never tried voting? The avatar seemed to smile. Once, we voted to kill you all. It continued to descend. Hours later, they were still walking. The passage wasn't wide, twisting lower and deeper into the rock. The guards, if that's what they were, became uglier and older as she walked in the footsteps of the avatar. Alice found herself in some waking nightmare of cold stone and echoing footsteps until she had had enough. She stopped and sat down, leaning against the dark and broken wall. The avatar turned to her and was about to ask some dumb question, so she simply smiled and said, Rest a while, stranger. I'm not a machine. Also, the lighting sucks down here. Tell me where we are going and why. Instead of answering, the avatar sat down and a small laser fired from its hand, heating the stone. Soon the glow flickered across their faces. It looked at Alice. Engineer, we fought you for many generations. I am familiar with your stories. It seemed to relax. So listen to the tale. My people and I will fall, no longer a true swarm. Instead, I will pass my people on to a new queen, a youngling already infected with the blight, and we will pass into history, just another mutation in a sky full of sin. I ask that you and your people allow us one chance, one last queen, not born to war, on an empty world. I ask you to guard its borders and let it live, so that a single queen can see the stars and not feel my fear, nor regret 1,000 battles, and not pay the blood price for the millions we killed or the grief of the millions dead. It is an egg held from long before our wars and from before we knew of empires and others. It is the last of its kind, and it must be planted or die. Alice frowned and rubbed her tired ankles. So you think it will work? That I would let the wars begin again? For you? The avatar nodded. Yes, I know your people. Why do you think I chose to steal a human? You hate to destroy life, even the most insignificant bug. We hurt you more when we killed an unthinking planet with a little moss and a few crawling things than when we burned one of your armies. The avatar shook its head. Which is why we did it, of course. We were fools. I remember the march of steel from your people. They never forgive that. There will be no war. One queen, one planet. It will take 1,000 years for her to even look at the stars as a destination. The Avatar stood up. One day she may even ask your people for help. Then I have done all this for nothing, but I must try. I am asking for mercy for the Necroton species. Alice looked again at the Queen. A queen, hiding in a human avatar from generations ago, losing another war, misguided in so many, many ways. But she wasn't wrong. She remembered the sense of regret that her teachers had when they spoke of the swarms in the past tense, the sense that we could have done it better, that we should never have let it go so far, that something special had been lost. Fuck it, she was here right now. Okay, Queen, I agree. I'll take this egg of yours and find an empty planet. I'll get the XCC to guard it and we'll see, I guess. If anyone fucks up, it won't be us. If she starts spawning armies and fleets, we will squash her like a bug. You open your world and it's a deal. The Avatar hissed at her. I will not surrender to you, child. You have work to do before I am willing to face battle with my successor. Do not presume, human. Alice shrugged. Why would you surrender to me? Listen, you call in a library ship and tell them you want a treaty with the Galactic Council. They do the paperwork and that's it. Sort of an ordinary day for them. It's mostly about trade routes and not eating people. The human fleets, that we don't have anymore, will make sure no one fucks with your new queen. That's the offer if you want my help. The Avatar stood and offered her hand. A deal then. My life to seal it and your task. Are we agreed? Alice felt like she was moving into some serious mythology right now, but she grasped the hand. Agreed. As they began the long walk again, she couldn't resist asking a few niggling questions. So why did everyone have to die? I mean, your troops? Your soldiers? The Avatar seemed to grimace, its human face twisting in unexpected ways. Those were my best, only lightly touched by the blight. If I had allowed them to connect with me properly, all my people would have known our plight. How far we had fallen. The priest was a mistake. I thought his fervor would protect him, not make him careless. It glanced backwards. They had little understanding of how you behave, and you scared them. They died because they had to. This avatar serves as a fuse. Should I require it, I can destroy the drone and its memories, also to slow down your people. What was that famous motto of your warriors? No one left behind. You were a better swarm than us at the bloody end. The last sentence was spoken with a dark and ancient bitterness. It looked at the wall, lost in thought. Out there, your people are coming, and I cannot stop them. Alice pulled herself up and watched the Queen move on, the corridor darkening behind her. She could feel the anger that had powered its predecessors to war and the intelligence that had recognized a lost battle before so many of its allies. Still, a fucked-up situation. An angry ghost still walking around and clanking its chains. She followed carefully. The Avatar stopped outside a chamber, unguarded and unremarkable. It opened the door using the full force of the human-made machine, crushing through dirt, dust, and corrosion. The door swung open onto a flickering stasis field, enclosing a single egg. It was roughly 1 meter in diameter, sitting surrounded by carefully crafted packaging. The Avatar seemed almost ashamed as she spoke next. This is the last. I can do no more. My best, my brightest are polluted, and here is the last of us from the before times, when space was a promise and a mystery and not a battlefield and a curse. It seemed to slump. She cannot know me, nor remember the queens that fell to your people. She would try and revenge us, and then she would die. She needs to be innocent, or you will crush her. She is our ultimate surrender and my only hope. Alice was feeling a bit lost. Obviously, this whole thing had been heavily thought out by the Queen, but she felt she was missing a few steps. So why involve me? You sent ships to find me. Why didn't you just plant it then? The Avatar kept looking at the egg. She is young, and once I turn off the field, she will take control of all around her, but not a human, deaf as you are to the universe. For her, you will be nothing more than a rock. If she ever links with my people, she will learn all the evils that you have inflicted on us and be consumed by rage. She would breed warriors, warriors that would fall to your Hoff. The Avatar carefully picked up the egg and spoke to it. She looked at Alice. I am promising it birth if it remains calm. I have told it that it will have a new world and much work to do. Follow me." They finally arrived at a wrecked human scout ship, twisted in a landing bay and covered in the dust of ages. The Avatar spoke. "This is the ship you will use. It is the only thing untouched by my people. My people don't even know it's here, and it carries no pollution." Alice walked towards the wreck. "How the fuck am I supposed to fix this? It's ancient." The Avatar put down the egg and shrugged. "You are a human engineer? Why do you think I spent so many lives to bring you here? Fulfill your agreement." Alice studied the broken craft and turned to the Avatar. It was going to hurt doing this, but it came with the job. "I will. I have, however, a previous oath to honor. My apologies, Your Majesty." She began whistling, singing a brutal code that no Xeno could ever follow. The Avatar collapsed into debris, a squirming thing left dying in the shrapnel. Alice knelt down sadly. "You're not allowed to play with our toys like that." She waited for the thing to die and picked up a few pieces. She looked at the egg. "All right. I'm still going to do it, but we have standards. You wait here while I sort it out."